What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and the day that you've all been waiting for has finally come. I've got my hands on the Metcon 9. So these launched on the 20th. That's when I put my order in. They only had women's sizes, so I had to buy a size 12. So that's the equivalent of the size 10.5 men's. And they finally, like, literally just came in, and I was waiting for them all day long. So I'm eventually going to get to a in-workout first impressions and everything, but I gotta coach classes and everything first. But anyways, here they are. The Metcon 9 in the AMP colorway. If you guys don't know what AMP stands for like Nike stuff, it's just like their special edition colorways. Sometimes there's material differences, but it's basically just a special edition shoe. And when these first came out, they were 150 bucks. They were the normal price of the Metcon 9. Now these are going for $160, and you can also buy them in men's sizing now. So yeah, they finally just came in, and I threw them on, or I took some pictures, threw them on, and now I can talk about the first impressions that I have on these. And the first one, the most immediate one, is I will say that they do not look as bad in real life as they do in pictures, or at least the rope guard, which is the most controversial thing about the Metcon 9. Maybe it's this colorway. It doesn't stand out as much in real life, and then when you're looking down on the shoe, I mean, you don't really see it. And then the lateral side of the shoe is not terrible. So yeah, the AMP colorway also has this little, I guess that's like the recycled sign for Nike, and that's like inside of the rope guard on the medial side. Okay, so first thing, besides the fact that they don't really look as bad as I thought they would, is the upper. We have a kind of like standard mesh fabric, and that goes around pretty much the whole vamp of the shoe. And what I noticed is that on the medial side, there are these little pods, like little haptic pods, kind of like super fabric is what they really reminded me of. And those are on the medial side of the toe box. I mean, I guess they spread on over to the very front of the toe box on the lateral side. And I think that's what they were saying on the website, that it kind of attenuates dust a little bit, or dirt, so that your shoes stay more clean. But I'll have to recheck that one. Another thing that I noticed with the rope guard is that it's got dimples on it. They're like pretty prominent too. So that's, I mean, if anything, these have to be godly at rope climbing, right? Because they have so much dedicated to it. There are dimples on the medial side as well, but it's only kind of targeted towards the center, and it doesn't go up the whole way. Right, it only goes up to right about there. Let's see here. We've got, I think it was React Foam again. So that's in the midsole. Another thing that I did notice about the way that the outsole geometry was shaped, and I really actually liked, was that there's this point out here, kind of shoots out a little bit to give you more forefoot stability inwards, and then also a little bit here, but not as prominent as this one right here. You still have the outside points as well. They're not as prominent as the medial points. And I've really liked that about Nike's training shoes. They had that in like a Metcon 7, Metcon 8, Savaleo, Romoleo, kind of in the Metcon 5 and 6. But yeah, I really like the Metcon geometry. We have the herringbone outsole design, forefoot flex grooves, toe bumper that comes up here, assists you doing burpees, give you a little bit more grip on the ground. And then you've, of course, got the Metcon logo. There's a slight heel rocker, but it's very, very minimal. I don't think that's going to do anything. And then, of course, we have the return of the Hyper Lift insert. And you can still kind of see through it. Like, it doesn't feel like it goes as far towards the middle of the shoe as the previous versions. Like the Metcon 7 felt real stiff towards the middle of the shoe, whereas the Metcon 9 kind of feels a little bit more like the Metcon 8. It's like a blend of the Metcon 8 and the Metcon 7 and how it feels. It feels like there's more foam in this shoe than the Metcon 8. The Metcon 8, from memory, felt a little bit more lower to the ground, whereas this, I feel like it's a little bit taller. It still feels like it's a 4mm drop. And that's one thing that has never changed throughout the Metcon line. I know there was some people that thought that the 7s and 8 had a 7mm drop. But everything that I've always gotten from Nike has been that these are 4mm drop shoes. Another thing that I noticed, you can kind of see it here, is that the outsole is like curved. Like it's concave. It's a little weird, and I don't know if that's by design or not, because it just, here, this one's more prominent. So you can really tell that there's a huge curve in the outsole. And you can feel it, like I can feel it when it's on. Don't think that that is a feature that they put into the shoe. It might just be my shoes. Of course, we have the return of the lace lock that I never use. And it's like the Metcon 8's lace lock, so it just kind of snaps down, does not Velcro to the front. Tongue is pretty substantial on this shoe. It's got a good amount of padding. It's secured to the sides, so it's gusseted in there. It's not gonna slide around. Good amount of ankle cushioning in the shoe. Around the Achilles, there's a ton of padding. Like around the ankle of the shoe feels a lot more substantial than the Metcon 8. And that's, well, I just kind of leave it at that for right now. The toe box, this is what everybody was kind of raving at. And because it looks wider than Metcon's, or at least the Metcon 8, which had a more narrow kind of pointy toe box, the toe box mainly feels like the Metcon 7 toe box. That's, I mean, if I could equate it to anything, which I thought the Metcon 7 had a pretty decent toe box. It's not as spacious as the Metcon 6, which had a really wide toe box. I feel like there's just more material in the front here that kind of condenses that toe box a little bit. Now, one thing that I do not like about these is that they're pretty heavy. They're the heaviest Metcons, I think, ever. These weighed in at 13.9 ounces for a women's 12 or men's size 10.5. Let me make sure. Let's do that again. Got my scale right here. I'm gonna put it there, 13.9. Let's put that in grams, 395 grams. Pretty heavy shoe. I think we could have definitely shaved off some of that weight. But I mean, if it translates to something that's actually meaningful, like the rope guard is ungodly good on this and the stability is amazing, then, maybe it'll be worth it to me. I think that is it for like the overview of the shoe. Sizing should be your normal Nike size. Like I said, I got these in a size 12 women's, a size 10.5 men's. Well, that's the translation. To me, they feel like a pair of men's shoes. They don't feel any different. I think the box actually says both 12, 10.5, so I don't think it's any difference. I think the last is like a unisex last. I'm hopefully gonna get to deadlift. I don't know. So hopefully I'm gonna go for a 3-rep max. So we'll run these today, and hopefully we'll have some more impressions later. Okay, we have 30 minutes to deadlift. I'm supposed to hit a 3-rep max in 15 of those minutes. Good thing I warm up pretty quick when I deadlift, and it's freaking hot, so getting this done is not my first rodeo. The outsole is like kind of slanted. I could feel that curve for sure. Another thing I'm noticing with these shoes is that they run hot. Something that doesn't normally bother me, but when I feel like my feet are hot, then that means there's probably not a lot of ventilation with that shoe. These shoes to me feel a lot like Metcon 7s. And from the way that the toe box feels, the cushioning, it all kind of reminds me of Metcon 7. It's not a bad thing. I like Metcon 7 a lot. Maybe the only thing about Metcon 7 that wasn't so hot was obviously running was not very good with the Hyperlift insole or the insert. This, I will say that the heel probably flexes sooner with the Metcon 9. Just like walking around, I could feel like I can get a good flex out of it. It's probably not as rigid as the previous models. That's kind of weird there. I was like shifting my foot around, trying to grip. Yeah, it's not sticking. Just kind of putting my foot down and turning. It's not really catching. But if I put my full foot down, it catches better. It's just if I put my toe down, it doesn't want to catch as good. So today the goal is like 500, 505 or something. But, you know, considering where I'm at with my training, life, I've actually been training pretty well lately, last cycle. But definitely not as strong as I was. Finding it hard to grab this. Like my grip is shot for some reason. It's not shot, it's just not. It feels like 400 is already pretty heavy. These shoes definitely feel like there's a good amount of midsole in them, in the forefoot. But it just kind of reminds me of Metcon 7. I mean, the big one, I think to me, is that, you know, when you have them here, you're looking at them, you don't really notice the rope guard that much. But you know, like, what happens when Metcons always come out is everybody hates them right away. Hates Metcons. And then, you know, sure enough in time, everybody starts to love them. And, you know, like, there's always something every year that gets people going. Last year, the Metcon logo. Metcon 7, rope guard. Metcon 6, all the little jagged lines. Metcon 5. I actually think Metcon 5 did okay. 4 was, I think, the most well-liked Metcon of all. Yeah. XD was real good. 4 was great. 3, I remember people didn't like the outsole when it first came out, and then by the time it was 4, nobody cared anymore. I mean, the response on these shoes feels pretty good. Like, it doesn't, like, even though that they feel like there's a good amount of midsole, it doesn't feel like that's detracting from the pull or the pressure that I'm putting into the ground. These shoes, surprisingly, they have like they envelop your foot. Like there's a lot of fabric in the upper. Whether you like that or not, you know, it kind of depends on who you are. Like coming from the Adidas drop set to these, those had a really airy feeling upper. Space in the toe box. This, I think, has ample space in the toe box. It's not I don't think it's narrow. I don't think it's as wide as people were like looking for though. Who knows? Could be the fact that I have the woman's pair. I don't know. I don't think so though. Ground contact feels okay. I think that curve in the outsole, that's like kind of messing with me right now. Maybe, I don't know, like maybe it's like placebo. It's not actually doing that much, but like I feel like my toes are like. Actually, I'll probably go after this one. I don't feel like my legs or the shoes are the factor on why this is heavy right now. I think it's just my grip. Okay. Let's just fucking do it. did an extra one just for good luck. First 3 felt okay. Definitely in my grips today. Oh yeah, the shoes. I think if you get deadlift 500, just about any shoe, makes it pretty good, pretty decent. The car delivery's there, response is there. The only thing that's getting me right now, just kind of how they feel on the ground. And they just kind of don't feel like the center makes as much contact as the rest. But otherwise, they're not bad. They're not bad. Is it worth the upgrade? Say you're rocking like 7s. I don't know. They feel a lot like 7s. 7s did have durability issues, and that might be a reason to go from 7s to these. But yeah, I mean, hopefully I can get into a workout later today, but so far so good. Yeah, also, keep in mind that, I'm still coming off of that bachelor party, so I'm still a little torn up. If you guys have any questions that you want me to answer about the Metcon 9s, you let me know. Leave them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. Peace. All right, so I did get my Metcon in. I thought I pressed record on my camera, and I did not. I had the mic on, but I honestly was too gassed to say anything or comment about the shoes. But I do have the recording on my phone, so, watching it back, for the wall balls, I'm running it back and I'm watching my heels come up all the time, which is not really that alarming for me personally, because I have a really upright torso when I do my wall balls, so I'm typically always gonna be more forward when I do them. But I was able to bang out larger sets of the wall balls, which was good. Didn't notice any, uncomfortability with the feet. My feet weren't getting achy or anything, so that was good with the wall balls. The run was not ideal in the Metcon 9s. They felt pretty clunky, pretty hot, and then pretty heavy. It was winded, the shoes did me no favors, and they feel still clunky. The hyperlift is definitely clunky, and I did a little, pressure test with the Metcon 7 and the Metcon 8 and the Metcon 9 back to back, and I felt like the Metcon 8 was the most flexible at the hyperlift. And I still think overall the Metcon 8s are probably going to be the most flexible of the bunch, whereas the 9s are just slightly more flexible than the Metcon 7s. And for the dumbbell hang clean and jerk, I had absolutely no issues with it. Like, I was able to go unbroken on both sets of dumbbell hang clean and jerks. Wasn't really an issue. Got a good jump on it. Never really landed in an odd position where, I had to really correct myself, or I wasn't able to go straight into the jerk from the clean. So I thought for, stability movements, Metcons, they did great. That's a typical Metcon thing. I'm not worried about that. And when I'm thinking about did I ever feel like my toes were constricted with these shoes? Definitely not. I thought they were plenty wide, and I thought that they were comfortable throughout the entire workout, besides the run, which was definitely the worst movement in the whole workout for me to do.